Ryan, thanks so much for joining us. What a strange time, hey? You're going into some of the biggest games of your life in really what is a crazy time. How has it been to be back training?
Yeah, I think as you say, the whole thing has just been so surreal. But the main thing is everyone, staying safe. And it's been a long time since we last kicked the football before this last week. So obviously it's good to be back. Spirits are high in camp. All looking forward to Thursday's game.
I bet it's been quite intense in terms of fitness. Has it almost been a condensed pre-season for you guys without going so long without playing, or were you working quite hard to keep those fitness levels up?
It has, yeah. I mean, when Boris Johnson and the government announced you can go out to activity exercise once a day, we got given a program from the sports scientists at the football club. So we stuck to that, and it was quite brutal, to be honest. It was really tough. And when we've come back, it's been mostly ball work, because obviously at home we've done the fitness work ourselves. So we've come back, done a bit of running, but mostly ball work. It's been, as you said, like a mini pre-season.
And in terms of sort of coming back, you have had some positive results in the camp, which must have been quite shocking, I guess, because Matt Taylor, the manager, was telling us didn't have any symptoms. So how did that affect you as players? Because it must have been quite alarming.
Yeah, as you say, it's the worrying. The scary thing is, as you say, they didn't show any symptoms, which was quite worrying. But we come back, we collected our kit, in a COVID way. We kept our distance and stuff, and then we had our first test, and obviously it came back that two of our players tested positive. They self isolated for 10 days, and then came back, got tested again, and which were negative, which was good. But as you say, when you don't show signs, it's a bit scary. But we've been getting tested twice, 2-3 times a week, and hopefully we'll stick with everyone being negative from now on.
When you found out that you were going to come back to playing, how did you feel about that? I mean, how was it as a player knowing that in the end you'd be in close contact with your colleagues and there's a global pandemic going on?
Yeah. I mean, you can look at it both sides, two sides really. We heard a lot. I heard a lot from social media about things going to happen, things might happen, but we just blocked that out, and we just listened to what we were hearing from the club, from the manager. And when we found out we were going to be coming back and in a safe way, in a safe possible environment, I mean, credit to the staff and the managers, everyone at the club. They've made our training ground as safe as it possibly could be. They've been working tirelessly throughout the day and night, to make it as safe as it possibly can be for us. But which made it even more better for us. We came in a week before everyone was back, and we're doing individual bits with the coaches, keeping that 2 meter distance. And then the following week, we're all back in together. And as I said earlier, the spirits were really high. Everyone just got on with it, with the football side of things, and we were looking forward to it.
Yeah, and in terms of being back with your players and the staff, that must have been quite refreshing, because I'm sure there's some young lads who probably haven't seen many people. There's people with families as well, all different backgrounds. But you spend pretty much the majority of the year in a changing
Yeah, of course.
room on the playing field with these lads. You must really have actually missed each other a lot.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's, as much as I love my wife and kids, that's the only really people you've been seeing. Likewise, the majority of the squad. But as you say, when we first got back into training and all the players were there and the staff was there, it was refreshing. It gave you a little lift, and it was exciting. And as you say, you spend majority of the week, weeks and months together. So in a way, you did miss them, it was good to be back.
Now, yourself personally, you've had a very positive season, some impressive stats. I think 14 goals so far.
Yeah.
And in those 14 goals, not just, ones that were the third or fourth goal, 5 match winners in that.
Yeah.
So you know how to win a game. So how excited are you for these playoffs? Do you feel like you can step up?
Oh, I can't wait for them. I mean, I wish they were played today. But obviously it's not the case. But yeah, myself personally, I've had a positive season. As you say, 5 match winners. The media guy keeps on reminding me and sending me, my stats about that. So that's good. But as I said earlier, myself included, all the spirits are high. The training's been intense. It's been good quality, and we just can't wait for Thursday to give it everything we've got.
Well, these are two huge games, it goes without saying, but you were so closely matched to these teams, this season. Colchester, 2 draws, nothing to choose between you. So you don't know what to expect in terms of a starting 11 because there could be injuries or we don't know what's happening with COVID.
Of course, yeah.
But in terms of a team overall, you are familiar with them and there's been nothing to choose between you. So what can you expect from these 2 legs?
Yeah, as you say, we've played them twice before. We probably know them better than most clubs in the league. But we don't like to concentrate too much on the opposition. We just like to fully focus on ourselves. We know kind of what to expect. But as you said, it could be injuries. They could test. They could have 5 players to test positive for COVID in the next coming days. We don't know that. So we've been going about the week. We just concentrate on ourselves, how we're going to go about the game, different scenarios, what could happen, and we're just raring to go.
And in terms of the journey, we spoke to Matt Taylor about it earlier. It's tricky because really there's a big distance between you. There's not many teams as far away. Exeter to Colchester, it's a hell of a way. How are you feeling about the journey? How are you feeling about the travel and possibly not staying over, maybe staying over, all this uncertainty? As a player, does that affect your preparation a lot?
No, it doesn't. I mean, for me personally, I spent a lot of my career playing conference. So we used to just travel up on the day anyway. We didn't really. Obviously we stayed over for the long ones in a hotel, but the majority of the time we travelled up on the day. I had to stopped off somewhere for pre-match and stuff. So for me personally, that won't affect my game at all. And I think most of the lads, they just get on with things like that. It's the way it is. Obviously, you can't stay at hotels. We'll be stopping off where it's safe to do so. For breaks and stuff, for food. The bus has been properly cleaned out and stuff. We're going to be keeping our distance on the coach and things like that. So I don't think it'll affect the players, and it definitely won't affect the game. Just one of them things, we just got to get on with it.
Yeah, well, there'll be no crowd as well. That's something to get your heads around. But there will be like a massive TV audience. So let's talk about the crowd first. Have you discussed in the squad what it's going to be like without any fans there?
I mean, we've had a couple of in-house games at the stadium to see what, to try and get a little feel of what it's going to be like. Obviously, you can't fully recollect thing it, but it's going to be strange. It's going to be like playing a reserve game, but there's going to be obviously no fans whatsoever. I think there's going to be some cardboard cutouts of the home fans, both legs, which would be quite good. Whether they play some music or sound in the background, I don't know, but it will be strange. It'll be something, to add to your collection of things you've done in a football pitch. But you just got to try and block all that out and play your game.
But it's nice to have football back. It's nice to talk about football in amongst everything.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a massive TV audience. There's such an appetite for football. We've missed it so much. This game would have been on telly anyway. Loads would have watched this game, but there's going to be even more now. How do you feel about playing in front of so many people on TV? Because this is probably the biggest audience you've played in front of without the crowd being there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, with the Premier League being back on Wednesday as well, and then Friday, I think there's a little split in between. And most people, will be watching telly at home, and most people will be watching the football. Like you say, people have been watching the German games when they first started and Spanish games. So, as you say, there'll be a big crowd, but you don't want to concentrate on that too much. Obviously, you'll have your family and friends watching from home. You just want to, play as best as you possibly can and do what's needed.